Good morning. Today's conversation is about one of the most critical challenges of our time, water and sustainability. Joining us is Madhukar Swayambhu, a nature based social solutions expert, TED speaker, and recognized water hero. His work has gained global attention, including being ranked among the top authors on water by international platforms. He has represented India in global forums, contributed extensively through research and articles, and continues to work at the intersection of ecology, water systems, and community impact. In today's discussion, we'll go beyond theory and understand what is actually happening to sustainability and what it takes to actually achieve it. Let's get started. So, how do you measure the success of a sustainability project beyond just environmental impact?
See, the answer lies in your question itself. You said sustainability project, right? So, what can be the success parameter for a sustainability project? The project has to be sustainable, right?
Yeah, of course.
The business should not be sustainable. The project in itself should be sustainable. So, if the project, whatever you're doing, whatever activity you're doing, if it will continue to go on its own without your intervention, then only you call it a successful project in sustainability, right? Now, what is the most sustainable phenomena on this planet? It's the nature itself, right? We know that the age of the planet is 4.3 billion years, right? It was going on for 4.3 billion years without any human intervention. That is the most sustainable phenomena, right? So if you want anything to be sustainable, it has to be completely aligned with the nature around us. So the more you understand nature, the more sustainable projects you can build, right? As far as
Yes.
our work is concerned, it is 100% to restore the health of soil, water, and air. So by default, once we move out of the project goes on its own. So that is the primary success criteria, that the project should sustain itself without any intervention.
That makes total sense. How can ESG be integrated into core business strategy rather than treated as a separate function?
See, ESG is a man-made creation, right? Like
Yeah.
UN SDG is a man-made creation, right?
Mhm.
All we are trying to do by building these kind of standards like UN SDG and ESG and sustainability, nature-based solution, like IUCN is working a lot into nature-based solution, right? Government of India has got a body called Bureau of Indian Standards, which is
Mm.
working on EBA, ecosystem-based approaches, right? What are we trying to do in all these things? Which is trying to align ourselves with nature, right?
Mhm.
Now, ESG is a buzzword these days, but if you try to understand more about ESG, it is environment, social,
Cool.
and governance, right?
Yeah.
Now, these are the three different tangents to each other, right?
Mm.
Anything that we do, if it is aligned with environmental processes, nature, right? Society, from social, and from the governance perspective, if you're able to govern the entire project properly, right? That's ESG. Okay. Now, ESG for, let's say, an urban local body will be entirely different from ESG of a corporate,
Mm.
right? If you're running an enterprise, your social faction will be dedicated to your employees, or maybe if you are a factory, the surroundings of the factory, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you're taking care of the villages around your factory, that is your social goal, which by default impacts the environment, right?
Of
Whatever
course.
activity you're doing, if that activity is polluting the environment around you, obviously it
Mm.
will be harming the society around the factory. Okay.
Mm.
And once you get into governing this entire ecosystem, which is a man-made ecosystem, that completes the ESG faction, right? Now, coming on to the ULB side, ULB has got good number of citizens living in, right? Then whenever you have urbanization happening, ULB is urban local body, right? That means essentially it has to be into an urban area. Now, urban area is what you can call as a city dwellers, right?
Yeah.
Now, ULB is providing you water. Every
Mm.
human being, right from the time when he wakes up into an urban area, he starts polluting water, right?
Yeah.
You brush your teeth, you add a lot of fluoride into water,
Mm.
right? You wash your clothes, you add a lot of phosphates into water, right? So any activity you do, you're polluting water by default.
Mm.
Okay. This has happened because we have changed our lifestyles in last about 100 years. We're
Mm.
not living a very sustainable life because of too much of chemicals in our routine. Now, all those chemicals are dumped into our
Water body.
wastewater sewage, right? From there, it goes to maybe a sewage treatment plant, and sewage treatment plant cannot hold the entire water, right? So it has to treat and discharge. Once it is discharged, it reaches a natural water body, right?
Mm.
It can be a lake or a pond or a river or a rivulet or a canal or anything. It has to be a natural water body, right? So what ULB is supposed to do when it comes to ESG, they need to take care that the environmental impact that they are creating,
Mm.
that is to a sustainable limit. Okay. Now, once the impact goes beyond the limit, what happens is there is a social impact that gets created. Like every water body, if it is sick, it will spread only sickness all around.
Mm.
If it is healthy, it will spread only health all around. Okay. So E is impacting S,
Yes.
and both of them are being impacted if the G is out of control. So if the governance is not environmentally aware, then the society gets impacted. That is how ESG are linked when it comes to a ULB.
Mm.
Does that answer your question?
It does, sir. So ESG are all interrelated. So you mentioned that there is a lot of chemical intake and usage in day-to-day life. So what can we do? Any small steps that we can take to reduce this?
See, just about 100 years back, we were living a very sustainable life. Okay. It's not that we were not aware about sanitation and hygiene. We were very much aware, right? But the products that we were using for sanitation and hygiene were all biodegradable. Okay. And India is one civilization wherein we had the maximum amount of research done on the environment around us. Okay.
Mhm.
We are the only civilization on this planet which came up with this idea of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which means the entire planet is our home,
Mhm.
right? Because you would have heard of butterfly effect,
Yes,
right?
sir.
So one butterfly flipping its wings somewhere in the jungles of Amazon will have an impact even in India and Indonesia and Malaysia, right? Because everything is linked. Now, we were the first civilization on this planet which came up with this idea that everything across us, across the globe, is all interlinked. Okay.
Mm.
So that is why we have a, a documentary and archaeological evidence for at least 25,000 years of continuous living in this place that we call as the Indian Peninsula. Okay. The civilizations have come and they've gone, but we have survived. We've survived the test of time. We've survived all the deluge. We survived all the natural calamities,
Mm.
right? So how did we do that? There has to be some science. There has to be some code of sustainability which was cracked by our ancestors, which we are still following, knowingly or unknowingly, right? So when I say about 100 years back, if we did not take care of sanitation and hygiene, we would have died because of any kind of epidemic, right?
Mm. Of
So
course.
sustainability, sanitation and hygiene were an integral part of our society. Okay.
Mm.
Even if you go back to the Harappan civilization,
Mm.
there also we had very well designed cities.
Drainage system.
Every home had its own toilet and flushing system. What we call as the Western commode today was actually there in Bharat during Harappan civilization also, right? So sanitation and hygiene were an integral part of the society back then also. But still, we were using chemicals to the limited extent. It's not that we were not aware of chemistry, right? India was the epitome of metallurgy
Mm.
even 3000 years back. Okay. We were the only civilization on the planet which knew how to extract zinc. Okay. For 5000 years, we have been extracting zinc out of the ore.
That's a
Okay.
very long time.
So we have been knowing chemistry inside out, but still we were using chemicals only where it was damn necessary. Okay. In the routine life, whatever we were doing, it was all herbal and naturally biodegradable. Okay. So that is how life was very sustainable about 100 years back. In last 100 years, what has happened is knowingly or unknowingly, everybody has started believing that whatever comes from West is the gospel's truth. That is why we are going blindfolded and we are following them. Instead of digging into our own roots to understand our own science, which has survived the test of time, we are blindly following just a 300 years old science, which of course has proven time and again that it was never sustainable,
Mm.
right? You see, in Sanskrit or in Hindi, what do we call a person? We call it a vyakti, right?
Mm.
What is vyakti? Vyakti is an expression, right? So every human being is an expression of nature. That is the way nature manifests itself, right? So we are just being expressed by nature. We are one of the expressions of the nature. That is how deep rooted the science is into our society. Okay. So that is why whatever we did was in absolute harmony with the natural process.
Mm.
Okay. Now, when I say a project, let me give you an example of a project. Civil construction by any standard is 100% man-made. It is not
Yes.
natural at all, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you look into the modern buildings,
Mm.
what is the age of a modern construction? 100 years, 150 years, 200 years, right?
At a
After
stretch.
that, the municipal corporation will put a board on the building that don't stand below this building, it can collapse. It is
Mm.
dangerous to stand below this building, right?
Yeah.
Now, what is the youngest fort that you know in Bharat? The youngest age of a fort will be at least 500 years. Okay.
How
So,
is this for?
exactly. So, how did we create structures 500 years back which have survived for so long while the modern construction cannot withstand the climate cycle, the weather cycle, the natural cycle even for 200 years.
And
Okay,
then we call this modern and advanced.
right? So if you look into it, what creates this problem with the modern civil construction? It is all bricks and cement and concrete, right? With which we build any of the building. Now, understand the weather cycle. If we follow the Gregorian calendar, the year starts with winters, right?
Mm,
After winter, we have summer.
yeah,
Winter, everything is condensed, so it will contract.
yeah.
Summer, everything gets heated and it will expand,
Excellent.
right? Then we have rains, monsoon.
Yes, sir.
Into monsoon, when the monsoon has started, everything was expanded, right?
Mm.
So after the rain, when everything gets wet, water will seep in, right? And then we have winters. After monsoon, we have winters.
Again, waiting.
Winter, everything will contract and
Yeah.
water will expand. So water which has gone in, which has seeped in, will actually expand and the outer surface has actually
Good point.
contracted. So it will create a crack.
Yeah.
With every rain, the crack will get deepened, right?
Yeah.
Eventually, the crack will reach the core and then it will be dangerous to stand below the building. Okay. Now, how were our forts created? The creators of the fort understood very well this weather cycle. So, what they did, they built an outer wall, they built an inner wall. Okay. Between the walls, they filled a kind of a mixture. That mixture contained dried curd, crushed pulses, and calcium carbonate. वो जो पान में चूना खाते हैं ना,
Hmm.
that thing. Okay. Now, why this mix was created? Because dried curd is nothing but dried bacillus bacteria. Okay. Now, once it is dried, it goes into dormancy.
Hmm.
Okay. That is mixed with crushed pulse, which is plant protein, and calcium carbonate, which is uh, uh, basically the outer shell of the seashells. Okay,
Okay.
that is calcium carbonate. Now they are crushed and they are filled in between the outer wall and the inner wall. Right.
Hmm.
Now both these walls will get wet during monsoon. The crack will get created. Finally, the crack will reach the core. What do we have in the core? We have dried bacillus bacteria. The moment it gets water, it resurrects into life and it starts performing its metabolic activity. For it to consume, we already have plant protein. The calcium carbonate that we have, the bacillus bacteria will rebuild the crack into a stronger stone. So, with every monsoon, while the modern building walls will get weakened, with every monsoon, the fort walls get stronger because it is uh, a refurbishment of the wall with a stronger rock. So, once you understand the nature around you, you can actually define your development strategies in absolute alignment with the nature. Okay, that is how sustainability comes into picture. Now, what is the oldest civil construction on this planet which is still surviving? You know,
No, sir.
there is a bridge between India and Sri Lanka.
Yeah.
The Britishers called it Adams Bridge. We call it Ram Setu,
Absolutely.
right? It was built somewhere about 14,000 years back. Okay. Have you read Mr. Nilesh Oak? He
Um,
has he has written a book called Dating Ramayana and Mahabharata. Okay.
Have not read it.
So he's a researcher on Indic scriptures based out of US, born in Bharat in Maharashtra. And he was there into IT industry earlier, but now he is completely focused on doing research into Indic scriptures. Okay. So what he did was he studied entire Ramayana and Mahabharata and took up all the references of the planets, Graha and Nakshatra given into the original text, Valmiki Ramayana and Vyasa's Mahabharata. Okay. He plotted those planetary positions onto a planetarium software and he came out with different dates, right? That this particular incident happened on this and this date as per the planetarium software. Then he did a parallel research into different streams of science to arrive on the same dates. So he has got the most authentic data on dating Ramayana and Mahabharata. That these were historical events. This is not what the British government called mythology. It is not a myth. It was real
History.
history of Bharat. Okay. So in his book, he has dated Mahabharat, Ramayana to be about 14,000 years old. And the date aligns with the dating of Ram Setu. Okay. So the oldest surviving civil construction that we have on the planet was in Bharat with the Indian technology of civil construction. Okay. So the more you understand nature, the more sustainable will be your projects. It can be any project. I mean, even if you go to Cambodia, the Angkor Wat temples, right? They were built almost 1,000 years back, and they are still surviving, right? The canal system which they created, actually, the locals in Cambodia treated that as a natural river, whereas it was found to be a man-made canal built by the Chola kings in Cambodia, right? So, when it comes to sustainability, the biggest possible repository of understanding nature and understanding life sciences lies in Bharat. So, we should have dug into our own roots to understand, to crack the code of sustainability for the planet.
Yes, sir. That's very inspiring. The next question. I'm an IPMAT aspirant, so how can I build a strong profile in sustainability before even entering college?
See, as far as your college is concerned, as you already said, you are a sustainability enthusiast. Uh, I explained you the more you understand nature,
Mm.
the better will be your understanding of sustainability, right? And for that, unfortunately, into our course curriculum for K-12, we do not have sustainability as a subject to be studied. Okay. But nature is all around. Yes, you and me are city dwellers. We have limited access to nature. But in Bangalore, you can always go to Bannerghatta, right? You
Mm.
can always go to Belandur, right? You just observe the nature around you. You don't need a degree to understand nature, right? The more connected you are there with nature, the more you will understand nature, right?
Mm.
And the moment we are out of the concrete jungles, we arrive into the lap of nature itself, right? So the
Yeah.
best understanding that we can develop about nature is by looking at nature, by observing nature, by spending time in nature, right? Even if you have a dog at your home, if you have any pet at home, if you have plants, I can see these flowers next to you, right? These are all expressions of nature. So instead of having flowers in a vase, if you
Mm.
have a flower attached to its original plant, you can observe that, and you can, the deeper you observe, the the better you'll be able to communicate, right? You will understand how does a plant feel happy, right? Just when I was not into all this, I could never understand that a dog smiles also. But now I have seen that if a dog is happy, he'll smile back at you. I mean, irrespective of whether you understand his smile or not, right? Uh, a happy cow is able to express itself by the expressions, you know,
Mm.
if you are observant enough. Otherwise, a cow is a cow, right? A
Mm.
dog is a dog, right? We are made to believe that no other living being can express itself, right? That's how we have been kind of made to believe.
Mm.
That's a very Western thought process, that the entire nature around us is supposed to be consumed by us. We are the God's gift to the planet, and we rule the planet. We own the planet. And when we own it, we will cut it and we will eat it. That's not the way nature has designed the planet. There is a very fine balance of the number of emitters and the number of sequesters when it comes to carbon, right? There is a carbon cycle going on, there is a nitrogen cycle going on, there is a cycle of every metal and mineral that is going on, right? And how deeply we are connected to the nature, into our own traditions. Uh, I'll just give you an example. You would have seen some old people doing that manka of any mantra jap
Yeah.
that has got 108 beads, right?
Mm.
Have you ever thought why 108? Why not 110? Why not 100 itself?
They say that 108 is a special, powerful number. I'm not sure why
Why?
though.
Why? What is so special about 108?
Not sure.
Now, I'll just give you a glimpse of the Indian Vedic science understanding of nature. Okay. Have you heard of this term Panch Mahabhut?
Yeah.
What are they?
It's the water, air, all of these elements, right?
Yeah. Soil, water, air, cosmic energy, and space.
Hmm.
Okay. So, cosmic energy is, you can call it fire, right? Soil, water, air, fire, and space. Gagan,
Hmm.
right?
Ether, right?
Now, instead of getting into these, I'll just explain. They are called what? Mahabhut,
Hmm.
right? Now, Maha is a superlative degree.
Yeah.
That means Bhut is also something.
Yeah.
Now, one Bhut is what we call, I mean, spirits. We get scared. Bhut aa gaya, right? But if you actually look into Sanskrit meaning of Bhut, it is uh, one meaning is past,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Now, if you understand past itself, because of past, we're there in present,
Hmm.
and whatever do we in present will become past tomorrow,
Yeah.
right? So, past is the basic foundation stone for the present, and present is the foundation stone for future.
Yeah.
So, the core element is what? Past.
The past.
So, Bhut is the basic core element. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, how many elements do we have? We have 108 elements into the periodic table,
Okay. Yeah.
right? Now, permutation and combination of these elements create Mahabhut. Okay. So whenever we are doing any mantrocharan, why we are taking only 108 beats is because every mantra is for one particular element in the periodic table. That is how scientific our society has been. Okay. Now you would have seen any of the TV serials which are based on our stories, um, Mahabharata and Ramayana and all that,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you would have seen uh, any rishi giving a shrap or a vardhan to anybody, right?
Hmm.
Or you would have read the into Amar Chitra Katha or anyone, right? So what is the process? There is a kamandal in which they
Yeah.
hold water. So they will take out water in their hand, put some mantra into it, and then spread
Sprinkle.
on the person, right?
Yeah.
That acts as a boon also, and that acts as a curse also, right? What is this entire process all about? Mantra is a vibration.
Hmm.
Okay? That vibration is recorded into water and then it is spread on somebody. So how does it impact? If it is a boon, the aura of the person changes and he starts taking positive decision in whatever comes in his life. And if it is a shrap, the same person starts taking all negative decisions and it results into a shrap. Okay. So we understood the science of aura, we understood the science of vibration, and we understood that water can record vibrations. All this has been proven by the modern science now. Okay. And we've been practicing it for last 25,000 years. So that is how deep our science is. So if you want to understand nature, one way is you just become more observant about nature. Second is you start understanding our science because it has survived the test of time. It is the most matured science on this planet. For last 25,000 years, this science has been there and it has been surviving, right? So when you want to understand the concept of sustainability, you are blessed right from your birth because you're born in Bharat, right?
So proud to be an Indian, sir. Moving on to the next question. What leadership qualities are essential when working on large scale environmental challenges, which include multiple stakeholders?
See, leadership is uh, essential for any project that you're doing, wherein you want to take a group of people in a particular direction,
Hmm.
right? It's not specific to environmental or sustainability projects. It is specific to any project under the sun wherein you want a group of people to work in a particular direction, right? Starting from a project in your school to leading a country,
Of course.
right? Now, there is a leadership quality in Mr. Donald Trump also. There is a leadership quality in Mr. Narendra Modi also,
Hmm.
right? There is a leadership quality in every person who is leading anything, right? Now, there are good leaders and there are bad leaders. I've given you both examples, right? I don't want to name global state heads here as good or bad, but I've given you the examples. So, what is the difference between a good leader and a bad leader? A good leader takes a decision but does not take the responsibility, right?
Hmm.
The success is owned by him and the failure is done by his team. Okay. A good leader does take a decision which is collective while the decision is being taken by the leader, but each and every member of the team unanimously takes that decision that this is our decision. They own the decision, right? That is how a closely knit team works. So the leadership is required in whatever activity you do, irrespective of whether you are doing a school project or you're leading a nation or a country, or maybe in a global platform when you're taking all the leaders in one particular direction, right? 2023, India was heading the G20,
Mm.
right? India was presiding the G20 summit, and all the stakeholders had signed the declaration together. That consensus was built. That is the leadership quality. Prior to that, G20, which was, I think, in Malaysia or Indonesia, uh, post that, it was in Brazil,
Mm.
right? All the member countries did not sign the declaration. Okay. So you understand the difference between the decisions taken by a leader and a bad leader, right? So leadership quality is a must, and the crux of leadership is a close knit team, wherein there's only one principle: either you convince me or you get convinced. We
Mm.
can debate, we can thrash on each and every point, but we have to move together as a team. A person who is able to deliver this in action is a good leader. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you, sir. And the final question for today. How do you convince businesses or communities to adopt sustainable practices when there is resistance?
See, resistance will only come when people don't understand the nature around them. Okay. Like I told you in one of your previous questions, that a sick water body will only spread sickness all around. A
Yes.
healthy water body will spread health all around, right? But this, once it is translated into practice, nobody will resist, right?
Mm.
Like when there have been plenty of projects wherein when we have gone for the initial site survey, people have resisted. Why they wanted to resist is because they see water bodies as a land grabbing opportunity. If the water body is filled and plots are cut, there are plenty of people who can sell those plots and make money out of it, right?
Mm.
And that is why there is a practice that let's put all the dump and the garbage into the water body so that it gets filled up faster and we can cut plots and sell, right? So if you're going to restore a water body, obviously all this lobby of people will be against that project, right?
Mm.
That will bring resistance. Okay. So once the water body is in pathetic condition, it is in sick condition, it is polluted, foul smell is emanating out of it, there are trillions of mosquitoes all around, right? What will be the people living in the vicinity experience? They'll have waterborne diseases, they'll have vector-borne diseases, they'll also have respiratory diseases, because every water body is a sink for the particulate matter that we call as the air pollution. It is a sink for carbon, it is a sink for heat, it is a sink for water. Okay. So if the water body is in healthy condition, there'll be no water logging, there'll be no flooding. If the water body is healthy, the ambient temperature in the vicinity will drop down by 6 to 8 degrees.
6 to
Okay.
8 degrees.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just about 30 years back in Bangalore, nobody used to buy an air conditioner because the entire city was air conditioned. Because the land to water ratio, if you look into Bangalore, there are three cities of that kind in Bharat: Bangalore, Pune, and Chandigarh. They used to be the retirement capital of India. All central government officials after retirement wanted to get settled only in these three cities. Why? Because the temperature was always moderate. If it was too much of sun in one day, by evening it used to rain. Okay, the temperature was always maintained, the air quality was wonderful, people were very uh, what do you call, docile, people were very friendly. There was no road rage or anything of that sort, no traffic jams. All these three cities had this commonality only because land to water ratio in these three cities were entirely different from rest of the country. Okay, but today you look at it, all water bodies are polluted, all water bodies are sick, and resultant is, even in Bangalore you cannot live without an air conditioner, right? So the point is, if the nature is kept into the pristine condition, people understand that they are healthier, they are wealthier, they are happier, and they are more prosperous. The moment people realize this, nobody will oppose. Nobody will give you any kind of resistance. Now, how do you make it happen? It can only be done when a scientific study is conducted before and after the project. So
Hmm.
that is why we meticulously invest a lot into such kind of studies. So whenever we do a project, there is a environmental impact assessment done, which is a scientific study for the baseline survey of the start point of the project. What is the condition of groundwater, surface water, inlet water, GHG emission from the water body, air quality, aquatic biodiversity, terrestrial biodiversity. A bathymetry report gives you a understanding of how much of water is there, how much of sludge is there, where is the actual depth. These are all scientific reports which are done. Okay. Then the intervention starts. Then there is a socio-economic impact assessment done, which is again a research from the social development perspective. How
Hmm.
is the project impacting the society? How are people helped in terms of their better health? So if you eradicate uh, waterborne, vector-borne, and air pollution-borne diseases, people are healthier, right? Now, another aspect of is people are making more savings on an annual basis. If people are uh, healthier, they are not falling sick, so they're saving on the medical expenses, right? If the water body is healthy, the temperature is reduced by 6 to 8 degrees, which means you need less air conditioning. So you have lesser energy bills, right? Again, a saving. Now, again, when people are healthier, their work efficiency goes up. So they work more. So they earn more. So their income is also going up, right? So overall, people are healthier, wealthier, happier, and more prosperous. So those kind of research have to be conducted, and data never lies. When you
Hmm.
present the data in front of the people, people will have the experience that yes, they are healthier, but they will realize only when they are made to realize.
Hmm.
And the moment they get realization that it is because of a healthy environment that we live in, that we are healthier, we are happier, we are more prosperous, we are wealthier, obviously the resistance will go.
Hmm.
So apart from doing the project, you also need to do a lot of investment into research and data collection so that you can present it in facts and figure in front of the people so that the resistance is gone. Got it?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for your valuable insight. I've learned a lot today, and it certainly motivated me to go ahead with what I have dreamt of. Thank you,
It's a
sir.
wonderful field. I wish you all the best to get into the environment and sustainability sector because the world need more young people to get into this sector because you know it has been believed that this is a sector which is um, against the economy. You know,
Hmm.
this is again a misconception that economy and ecology are on loggerheads. They're not. If you want economy to be sustainable, if you want economy to be recession free, it has to be properly aligned with the ecology. You know, we know that India has got 17% of the global population, right?
Hmm.
What we don't know is India is also the home to 17% of the global biodiversity. The day we start realizing our natural resources and we start living in absolute harmony with the nature around us, we will be the right model of development along with sustainability and environment. And for that, we need more and more people of your age to come into this sector. And that is why I wanted to talk to you.
Thank you, sir. I hope many people get inspired like me as well. Thank you.
That is what I'm also hoping, and I'm sure a lot of people of your age group will be going through this when you put this on YouTube or when you put this on air, and I would expect more and more people of your age, more and more youngsters, more and more youth to get into the sector of environment and sustainability. It is a wonderful field, and there is a lot of money. It's not that you have to work for free. This is one sector wherein the global funding will be shifting very soon with the kind of disturbance that we have globally, whether it is um, uh, Russia and Ukraine war going on or Israel and US and Iran war going on. Everybody is bothered about how much billions of dollars are being spent. Has anyone ever calculated the amount of emission that is going in the air because of this? In all the global summits, we are talking about cutting emissions, right? One war does 10 years of emission in uh, 1 year itself. Okay, so it is deteriorating the global environment. That is what people need to realize, that environment is not just for Mr. Trump or Mr. Putin. It is for everyone, right? The biggest issue with the people working into the environment and sustainability sector is that they have made the discussion and the debate on environment so exclusive that a common man doesn't even thinks that he is linked to the discussion. You know, if you're talking about 1.5 degree of global temperature rise, I mean, a person living in a village, he would say, how am I linked to it? The emission is happening on the national scale. How am I linked to it? People are unable to relate themselves to climate change and global warming. People don't even realize that the example that I gave you, 30 years back, nobody was using an air conditioner in Bangalore. Is it not local warming? Right? Everybody needs an air conditioner today. Is it not local warming? Local warming leads to global warming. So if the globe is getting warmer, your city, your village cannot remain independent of it. It is impacting everybody. It is impacting your dad's pocket, your mom's pocket also. The more air conditioner you run, the more will be your energy bill. Somebody needs to pay that, right?
Hmm.
So everybody gets impacted. 2024, there was a global climate change discussion happening. It was a UNESCO initiative and it was hosted in, I guess, Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I was called in to explain them what should be the right communication for climate change and global warming. I said, if your discussion is at 40,000 feet and a normal person is not feel linked to it, then how do you make it a common discussion,
Hmm.
right? So people need to realize that they are also getting impacted. It is impacting their pocket also. It is impacting their routine life, their life decisions, their business decisions. Everything is getting impacted because of climate change and global warming. But you are discussing it as if it is a issue to be discussed between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin. It's not them who are getting impacted. It is us who are getting impacted. So if we don't discuss it, who will?
Hmm.
Right? That is how you have to make it relatable for the common people. That is why we need more people like you of your age, because we are on the wrong side of the age. You are on the right side of the age. So whatever we are doing, we are actually doing the restoration work for the next generation. For that, the next generation must understand the environment around them, right?
Hmm.
So that is what I expect out of the discussion, that it reaches more and more people of your age, and more people get interested into this sector of sustainability and environment.
Thank you, sir.